Hello everyone. Uh, my name is Muci Tribona and I'm from class 4B. Now I want to interpreting the BBC podcast. The title is How the World Learned to Love Fast Food. In Indonesia, bagaimana dunia mengenal untuk menyukai makanan cepat saji.
.com.
Hello, this is 6-Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Phil.
And I'm Beth.
Love it
Oke, saya Phil dan saya Beth.
or hate it. There's no doubt fast food is popular. Are you a fast food fan or hate it? There's no doubt.
It's English from bblearningenglish.com.
Hello, this is 6-Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Phil.
And I'm Beth.
Love it or hate it. There's no doubt fast food is popular.
Oke, suka atau tidak suka fast food itu pasti populer.
Are you a fast food fan, Beth?
Oke, apakah kamu penggemar fast food, Beth?
Not really, no. I think sometimes it can be quite convenient, obviously because it's quick, but not really.
Well,
I think sometimes it can be quite convenient, obviously because it's quick, but not really.
well,
Oke, gak juga. Tidak, tapi kadang-kadang sih praktis, terus jelas, terus cepat, tapi ya nggak terlalu suka.
whatever you think about them, fast food brands like KFC, Domino's, and of course the big one, McDonald's, are incredibly successful.
In this book, but not really.
Well, whatever you think about them, fast food brands like KFC, Domino's, and of course the big one, McDonald's, are incredibly successful.
In this
Oke, apapun pendapat kamu, merek-merek fast food itu seperti kayak KFC, Domino, terus yang paling terkenalnya itu pasti McDonald, itu sangat sukses.
This program will be discussing the global spread of fast food from its beginnings in 1950s America. As you
Oke, di program ini tuh kita bakal bahas penyebaran global fast food dari awalnya tuh di Amerika tahunnya 1950-an.
usual, we'll be learning some useful new words and phrases.
But first, I have a question. Successful.
In this program, we'll be discussing the global spread of fast food from its beginnings in 1950s America. As usual, we'll be learning some useful new words and phrases.
But first,
Oke, seperti biasa kita juga bakal belajar beberapa kata dan juga frasa baru yang berguna.
I have a question for you, Beth. Roughly how many fast food restaurants are there in the UK? Is it A, 4,000, B, 42,000?
As usual, we'll be learning some useful new words and phrases.
But first, I have a question for you, Beth. Roughly how many fast food restaurants are there in the UK? Is it A, 4,000, B, 42,000, or C, 4 million?
I'm going to go for B, 42,000.
Tapi pertama saya ada pertanyaan buat kamu, Beth. Kira-kira berapa banyak restoran fast food yang ada di Inggris? Apakah itu A, 4.000, B, 42.000, atau C, 4 juta? Dan Beth saya pilih yang B, 42.000.
Okay, well, later on we'll find out the answer. In the
Oke, nanti kita bakal tahu jawabannya.
United States, cheap and easy food like hamburgers, French fries, and milkshakes have been popular since the 1950s. Listen as or C, 4 million. Find out the answer. In the United States, cheap and easy food like hamburgers, French fries, and milkshakes have been popular since the 1950s. Listen
Oke, di Amerika Serikat juga makanan murah dan gampang kayak hamburger, kentang goreng, dan milkshake itu udah populer sejak tahun 1950-an.
As Adam Chandler, author of the book Drive-Through Dreams, which traces the history of American fast food, tells BBC World Service program The Food Chain how it all got started. At the milkshakes have been popular since the 1950s. Listen as Adam Chandler, author of the book Drive-Through Dreams, which traces the history of American fast food, tells BBC World Service program The Food Chain how it all got started.
Oke, dengarkan Adam Chandler, penulis buku Drive-Through Dreams yang ngebahas sejarah fast food Amerika, bilang di program BBC World Service The Food Chain tentang bagaimana semuanya itu dimulai.
At the heart of the story of fast food is a very anyone can do this sense. A lot of the company founders didn't have a
This is the history of American fast food, tells BBC World Service program The Food Chain how it all got started.
At the heart of the story of fast food is a very anyone can do this sense.
Oke, di inti cerita fast food itu adalah rasa bahwa siapapun bisa melakukannya.
A lot of the company founders didn't have a college degree, who didn't have a high school degree in a lot of instances, didn't come from money, were oftentimes just people who were ready to plug themselves into a system that would work for them. And
Jadi banyak pendiri-pendiri perusahaan yang nggak punya gelar kuliah, title, bahkan banyak yang nggak lulus SMA, jadi nggak berasal dari keluarga kaya, terus juga cuma orang-orang, tapi seringkali cuma orang-orang yang siap terjun ke sistem yang bisa siap bekerja untuk mereka, jadi mereka setidaknya sudah punya skill.
And it did. It made opportunity very, very easy in a time when that was a new part of the American experience. So it was.
Dan itu berhasil. Kesempatan jadi sangat mudah pada saat itu, yang merupakan bagian baru dari pengalaman Amerika.
The American dream in a very small way.
Jadi itu adalah mimpi Amerika dalam skala yang kecil.
That became the American dream in a very big way.
The rise
Itu jadi mimpi Amerika dalam skala besar juga. Selain dia dalam skala kecil, lalu selanjutnya menjadi skala besar.
of fast food reflected the rise of American economic power after the Second World War.
Jadi kenaikan fast food itu mencerminkan kenaikan kekuatan ekonomi Amerika setelah Perang Dunia Kedua.
When Adam says that this lies at the heart of the story, he means it's the most important part of the story.
Ketika Adam itu bilang ini ada di inti cerita, dia maksudkannya itu adalah bagian terpenting dari cerita tersebut.
In the 1950s, when the famous brands we know today were just beginning, anyone with a can-do attitude could sell fast food.
Di tahun 1950-an, ketika merek-merek terkenal yang kita kenal sekarang baru mulai, siapapun yang punya sikap can-do bisa jual fast food.
Can-do attitude describes someone who is confident and determined to fix problems and achieve results.
Jadi sikap can-do itu menggambarkan orang yang percaya diri dan bertekad untuk menyelesaikan masalah dan mencapai hasil.
Is exactly what happened at successful restaurants like Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's. For many,
Jadi itulah yang terjadi di restoran-restoran yang sukses seperti kayak Kentucky Fried Chicken terus dan McDonald's.
These fast food brands symbolized the American dream, the idea that anyone in the United States can achieve success through hard work and determination.
Oke, bagi banyak orang merek fast food itu ngelambangin mimpi Amerika. Ide bahwa siapapun di Amerika Serikat itu bisa sukses lewat kerja keras dan juga ketekunan.
The success of KFC, McDonald's, and the rest wasn't limited to America.
Oke, kesuksesan kayak KFC, McDonald's, dan yang lainnya itu nggak cuma di Amerika.
Nowadays, you can visit 2 McDonald's on opposite sides of the planet and eat exactly the same meal.
Okay. Jadi sekarang kamu bisa mampir ke kedua McDonald's di sisi berlawanan di planet ini dan makan makanan yang sama persis.
But not every country opened its arms in welcome. The tiny island of Iceland, for one.
Tapi nggak semua negara itu menyambut dengan tangan yang terbuka. Kayak contohnya pulau kecil di Islandia.
Andy Sophia Fontaine, who used to work in McDonald's, now edits the Iceland Review.
Dan juga Sophia Fontaine yang dulunya kerja di McDonald's, sekarang jadi editor di Iceland Review.
Here, she tells BBC World Service programme The Food Chain how McDonald's got a frosty reception when it started selling burgers in Iceland's capital, Reykjavik.
Reykjavik. Ya, di sini tuh dia cerita di program BBC World Service The Food Chain tentang bagaimana McDonald itu dapat sambutan dingin saat mulai jual burger di ibu kota Islandia, Reykjavik, something like that.
There's been a long-standing burger culture in Iceland. They have their own take.
Oke, di Islandia itu udah ada budaya burger yang udah lama.
On the hamburger, wherein they'll use lettuce and raw cucumbers and a type of fry sauce. That's called a sjoppubogari or shop burger. And on the hamburger, wherein they'll use lettuce and raw cucumbers and a type of fry sauce. That's called a sjoppubogari or shop burger. And that's been around for ages. Yeah, it's a McDonald's burger. And that's been around for ages. Yeah.
Oke, mereka itu punya versi sendiri tentang hamburger, dimana mereka itu pakai selada, terus mentimun yang masih mentah, sama sejenis saus goreng. Nah, itu disebutnya bogari ya, atau burger toko. Dan itu tuh udah ada sejak lama, sebelum McDonald masuk.
So McDonald's, they struggled to try to maintain a market.
Jadi si McDonald kesulitan untuk mempertahankan pasar mereka.
The final nail in the coffin was the global financial crisis in 2008-2009.
Jadi paku terakhir di peti mati adalah krisis keuangan global di tahun 2008 atau 2009.
Iceland already had a long-standing tradition of eating burgers, a tradition that had existed for a long time. For example, Iceland already had a long-standing tradition of eating burgers, a tradition that had existed for a long time. For example,
Islandia itu udah punya tradisi lama dalam makan burger, tradisi yang udah ada sejak lama.
The sjoppubogari, or shop burger, was a take on, or variation of, the American hamburger.
Misalnya, sapu bogari atau burger toko adalah variasi dari hamburger Amerika. Jadi mereka punya versinya sendiri.
Weren't as successful in Iceland as they'd been elsewhere.
Jadi McDonald itu nggak seberhasil itu di Islandia seperti di tempat lain.
And the global financial crash of 2008 was the final nail in the coffin, an event which caused the failure of something that had already started to go wrong.
Krisis keuangan global tahun 2008 adalah paku terakhir di peti mati, sebuah peristiwa yang menyebabkan kegagalan suatu yang udah mulai salah ya.
To this day, there are no McDonald's in Iceland, unlike Britain, which reminds me of your question, Phil.
Oke, jadi sampai hari ini nggak ada McDonald di Islandia seperti di Inggris. Yang menanyakan saya akan pertanyaanmu, Phil.
Yes, I asked you how many fast food restaurants there are in Britain.
Ya, saya nanya berapa banyak restoran fast food yang ada di Inggris.
Asked you if there were 4,000, 42,000 or 4 million, and of course the answer is 42,000, so you were right. Well done.
Oke. Jadi saya tanya apakah ada 4.000, 42.000 atau 4 juta. Nah, tentu saja jawabannya adalah 42.000. Jadi kamu benar. Bagus sekali.
Okay, let's recap the vocabulary we've learned, starting with at the heart of, meaning the most important part or the cause of something.
If you say that someone has
It's 42,000, so you were right. Well done. Okay, let's recap the vocabulary we've learned, starting with at the heart of, meaning the most important part or the cause of something.
Oke, mari kita rekap kosakata yang udah dipelajari. Yang udah kita pelajari mulai dari at the heart of, yang berarti itu bagian paling penting atau penyebab dari sesuatu.
If you say that someone has a can-do attitude, you mean they are confident to take action, fix problems, and deal with new challenges.
Oke. Kalau kamu bilang seseorang yang punya sikap can do, berarti mereka percaya. Berarti mereka itu percaya diri. Terus percaya diri untuk bertindak, terus menyelesaikan masalah dan menghadapi tantangan baru.
The American dream is the belief that everyone in the USA has the opportunity to be successful and happy if they work hard.
American dream. Jadi mimpi Amerika itu adalah meyakinkan bahwa setiap orang di Amerika Serikat itu punya kesempatan untuk sukses dan bahagia jika mereka mau kerja keras.
The adjective long-standing means having existed for a long time.
A take on something.
Kabar. Kata sifat long standing itu berarti udah ada sejak lama.
Means a variation or new way of presenting it. A take on something means a variation or new way of presenting it.
Take on itu berarti variasi atau cara baru untuk menyajikan.
And finally, the idiom the final nail in the coffin refers to an event that causes the final end of something that had already started to fail. Once again,
Oke, dan terakhir idiom dari Pak. Wait, what? Idiom what?
And finally, the idiom the final nail in the coffin refers to an event that caused. And finally, the
item. Oke, dan terakhir idiom dari the final nail in the coffin ya, merujuk pada peristiwa yang menyebabkan akhir dari sesuatu yang udah dimulainya itu dari mulainya itu udah gagal. So okay, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.